Welcome to the shop. It is October 22nd as I record this. I'm a little late for the October tour. I honestly did have this in my calendar for October 1st. But on October 1st, I was still in the throes of my quilt rack build. I'm going to skip around here, not quite go in order. What you're seeing there is the template from my original quilt rack that I built for Kathy, my mother-in-law. See, it's Kathy's quilt rack back from July of 2012. And what you see here, as I pull this out, and it doesn't balance on its own, unfortunately, so I got to kind of... Okay, what we see there, that bigger swooping one, is the template for Katie's quilt rack from October of 2013. And I'm missing a 1 there. It's not... Oh no, that's 2013, not 20/13. Regardless, that's Katie's quilt rack. It's bigger, a bit swoopier, and what you don't see from this template is at the bottom got a box that went between the two verticals. So anyway, I will ultimately be posting about the quilt rack, but it was an engagement party present, and I rushed making it so much that I didn't get any finished pictures of it. So I need to hook up with Katie, who happens to be my wife's best friend, and get some pictures. So let's get back to the regular tour. I apologize that this is coming so late in the month, but I do want to continue the process of documenting the transformation the shop takes through the year. So here on the right-hand side, as you first come in, not unlike usual, is a pile of crap. Honestly, that bag's been there so long, I'm not even sure what tools are in it. There's a big flashlight. There's a upside-down vent for my Cub Scout Den leader's chimney. A big 1-gallon pail of shellac. And those boxes, the windows, and this stuff in this general area is all treehouse stuff. The treehouse is functionally complete. Still a lot of trim and roofing left to do, but it's a project for the spring now. It's October. I put it away for the year. There we've got only 2 of what used to be 6 or 7 of those red boxes, and these 2 are still only here temporarily, excuse me. They're going to go in the back. The stuff on the top, I'm not quite sure if I have a home for. We've got some miscellaneous catalogs, quick tri-square, and these are some of the accessories for my Fordham, the bits and burrs and things. Come around, my table saw. On the table saw are some of the booty I picked up at Woodworking in America. I just got back from there. Got a nice 24-inch ruler from Woodpeckers. I have a 12 and a 50-inch, and I tend to use the 50-inch far too often for things that are far too small for the 50-inch. So the 24-inch should come in really nicely. A bunch of rasps from Gramercy Tools. I can't wait to use them. And an aggressive as hell grinder blade from a company whose name escapes me. It's not they just came out with these, so it's not a well-known company for these things, but it was fairly cheap at the show, and I'm going to try it out and test it out. And here's some new clear tape from Gorilla. They gave it as a sample, and the new Avery repositioning tape. So we'll try them. Over on the side is still all my table saw accessories. There's my boom arm just tucked out of the way. Not really a table saw accessory, but fits there. My 2 new grippers. Absolutely loving them. I got to use them on the quilt rack project. No teeny little pieces to run, but frankly, just as push blocks, they were fantastic. I'm looking forward to using them more and more on the table saw. As we come around here, still some jigs on the wall there. Still my pull-out cabinet. And the infamous, and probably more common than just my shop, garbage pail full of clamps. Those clamps will ultimately go on the wall. We'll get to the other clamps that are now on the wall, thankfully. Here's a rack of old Lee Valley metal drawers. This is a movable cabinet. It's actually the only piece of shop furniture that moved from my old shop to this shop. And it's sooner than later, it's going to be disassembled. And these drawers are going to go against a wall. The drawer is only half the depth of the whole cabinet, and the rest of it's going to get out of the way because it's too deep. On it, you see my Bosch glide saw. That is going to be installed on this wall sooner than later. You see that's the beginning of the miter saw table there, but I need to rework that a bit, but at least those steel supports are going to stay. And the drill press, I need to find a home for the drill press, but for now it stays on the table. Here's my CT22 with some containers and the nice ghetto rack I made for the top. I've got the boom arm there. This is a storage container, or a sander storage. You can see, you take the sanders and lock them in. It does a nice job of holding the sanders. and this flat area has a lip on it so that tools you place on the top can't slide off. I don't know why it took me so long to make this thing. I made it last year. Should have made it the minute I bought the vacuum. Back there, my planer, my track saw. Here's my cabinet full of Festool stuff with the Festool tracks in front of it. I haven't moved it yet, but this needs to be moved that way to win that, to take up that dead space and win me some space here. But there on the wall, you can see my levels and my big 50-inch ruler. And up here, there's a quick rack I made for quick clamps and F clamps and things like that. And all it is a 2x4 screwed to a 1x6. And then I drilled through the whole thing, and that's the fence rails for my original bandsaw fence. I replaced the fence, I salvaged these rails, and just drilled a hole and jammed them in. And they're holding these clamps very well. I'm loving it because for all these quick clamps, you just grab it, and it comes off. I can use it, throw it back on. Working out very well. Here on the back of the wall, I've got these shelves with miscellaneous tools and chests. I haven't really organized any of this, and only the bottom shelf, you can see that metal bar, that is 7/8 inch Kindor for Unistrut. That adds a whole lot of strength to it. The upper one's that 3/4 inch OSB. As much as I love it, it's not really designed to hold a lot of weight in a shelf configuration like this. So I need to re-engineer those shelves to be more permanent. But it got a lot of stuff up off the floor, which was my goal. I had the scrap pieces of OSB from the walls. It was quick and dirty, and it worked. Here in the corner, we've got the remainder of those red shelves. And these hold all sorts of things. Got some planes and scrapers in that one. Rasps and files. And what do we have up here? I don't even know. That's crap. Here we've got some nice saws. It's a hodgepodge of good, bad, and everything indifferent in these drawers. I need to rearrange the drawers, but they fit nicely in the corner. Here's my existing bench. This is where my nice bench will go once I build the nice bench. And while I'm closer to building the nice bench, I still don't know when I'm going to get to it. Back here in the corner, though, I have some things for the nice bench. This is a scrap of glulam that's about, I don't know, about 36 inches long. And that's a scrap of LSL, laminated strand lumber, about the same size. I got them off a building site, and they're going to go into the bench somehow. Maybe as vice chops, I'm not sure. But they're nice big hunks of engineered lumber that I'm excited to use. Come around here, there's my Keller dovetail jig I got to work on the quilt rack. I can't say how amazed I am by how easy the thing is to use. I'm not the biggest fan of dovetails, but I can't help but think I'm going to use them a lot more because this jig is just so easy to use. I would highly recommend it. Underneath that is my joiner. It's the 8-inch joiner I picked up recently. The outfeed table is pretty close. Not perfect enough. It's good enough for government work. When I'm doing a big piece, it's good enough that I can get it flat and then run it through the planer. And the planer is really what's making the edges really flat. The bottom is still dipping. Even after a full day of adjustment, the back edge of the outfeed table is still dipping, and I need to futz with it some more. Overall, I'm still happy with the purchase. It was cheap, and it's a nice big machine, but I'm beginning to get frustrated by its lack of tunability. Here's my benchmark table, which I move in and out, and I haven't 100% confirmed this, but people are continually asking me about this bench, and I keep sending them to Benchmark's website and to Amazon, which is I got it off Amazon. But from what I've heard, Benchmark isn't selling the benches anymore, and I'm disappointed by that because this thing is fantastic. I think it's easily the best collapsible bench. It's huge, it holds tons and tons of weight, and it is rock solid when you open it up. So if you can get your hands on one, I would say don't wait, buy one. I'm not sure if they're still available, but it's a great, great table. As we come around, nothing has really changed here. There's the notch that the miter saw will go into. My electrical panel's behind that door. Here's my bandsaw, which I continue to loathe. And scrap sheet goods. So that's about it. That's where the shop stands now in, late October of 2013. And we'll be back with another video next month. Until then, stay in your shop and keep the sawdust coming.